The Queen of Soul has left her earthly throne. Liberals are performing their mental gymnastics skills, and our likely new governor here in California is going to run the state into the ground. More on those stories coming up today on The Rebel Buzz. One of America's Motown icons and the Queen of Soul has passed away. Aretha Franklin transcended race, gender, and background. When she sang her wildly popular hit Natural Woman, it wasn't just an anthem for the ladies. In the crowds of her performances, you could see men belting out that song. Strong, burly, manly men singing, you make me feel like a natural woman. She did that to people. She had that effect on people. The passion and presence she projected on stage transferred to her audience of all different backgrounds. She recorded her first album at 14 years old, and yet somehow, unlike nearly every other child celebrity, managed to remain normal. How many other child musicians, actors, and entertainers managed to become well-adjusted humans? Not many. Anyone who knows her will testify to the fact that she considered her greatest accomplishments in life to be her role as a mother and a grandmother. With humble beginnings, she burst onto the scene from her father's church in Detroit, Michigan. She would go on to record almost 100 hits that landed on Billboard's R&B charts. 20 of them were #1 hits. The National Endowment for the Arts released a list of songs for the century, the 20th century. And Aretha Franklin's hit Respect was #4. That song was originally written and released by another one of my Motown favorites, Otis Redding, in 1965, but it wasn't until Franklin's release of the track in 1967 that it became such a huge hit. The song was originally intended to be sung as a man pleading for respect from his woman when he brought home the paycheck. But as we all know, Aretha Franklin turned it into an empowering anthem as a strong, confident woman due proper respect. She won 2 Grammys for that song alone, her total Grammy count, 18 wins and 44 nominations. Ms. Franklin passed away yesterday morning at 9:50 a.m. at her home surrounded by her family. Her family released this statement. Franklin's official cause of death was due to advanced pancreatic cancer of the neuroendocrine type, which was confirmed by Franklin's oncologist, Dr. Philip of Karmanos Cancer Institute in Detroit. In one of the darkest moments of our lives, we are not able to find the appropriate words to express the pain in our heart. We have lost the matriarch and rock of our family. And as I heard someone say yesterday, the only controversy surrounding Aretha Franklin was which one of her hits was the best. It always shocks me to witness the advanced and impressive level of calisthenics liberals are able to perform. No, I'm not talking physically. They're mental calisthenics, they're mental gymnastics. They can pivot faster on an issue than Simone Biles on the beam. They can straddle both sides of a topic better than Gabby Douglas on the uneven bars. And they can leap over damning and conclusive facts better than Dominic Dawes in her floor routine. They are Olympic-level mental gymnasts, and their skills are becoming even more crucial as they attempt to credit our booming economy to former President Barack Obama. Now, before I get into that, let's run down the list of ways our economy is indeed soaring. Lowest jobless claims since 1973. Stock market has hit numerous records. Unemployment rate for high school dropouts fell to 5.1%, the lowest since data collection in 1992. In May, unemployment dropped to 3.9%, the lowest in 18 years. Latest report showed 4.1% GDP growth as compared to Obama's average of 2.2% growth. He only ever hit 2.6%. Black unemployment at 46-year low, the lowest in history, and Hispanic unemployment rate at a record low. Now, it's pretty difficult to deny hard numbers, but liberals, bless their hearts, they will do their best to take credit away from this president every chance they get and give it to their Lord and Savior, Barack Hussein Obama. Now, borrowing some quotes from the New York Times itself from August of 2016, they admitted this. For 3 quarters in a row, the growth rate of the economy has hovered around a mere 1%. In the last quarter of 2015 and the first quarter of 2016, the economy expanded at feeble annual rates of 0.9% and 0.8% respectively. The initial reading for the second quarter of the year released on Friday was a disappointing 1.2%. Now that's the New York Times talking about Obama's economy because they maybe have amnesia? I don't know. I mean, their latest on who gets credit is titled "An Economic Upturn Under Obama is Now Trump's to Tell." But wait, you guys printed an article regarding Obama's economy in his last months in office. And remember your own words, New York Times? You described them as disappointing and feeble. So I guess I just don't understand. Maybe I'm dumb. Or maybe you're just a bunch of failing, hypocritical, lying hacks. And to top it all off, that same month, August of 2016, the failing New York Times said that the underlying reality of low growth will haunt whoever wins the White House. Do I need to go over that list again? Record highs in the stock market, record low unemployment and jobless claims, 1.5 million fewer people on food stamps, $6 trillion added in wealth, 4.1% GDP growth, S&P broke $20 trillion for the first time in history, U.S. manufacturing index at 33-year high. Gosh, it sounds like whatever crap Obama made our economy that Trump inherited, he certainly turned things around. And a new poll released last week shows that Americans give this president an A rating on the economy, and the presidential leadership index has hit 45.7%. So either Americans are stupid or liberals are lying. I think we know which one is true. Speaking of liberals and their aversion to facts and math, we here in California are doomed. We've got a Republican trailing very far behind a very far left Democrat in the gubernatorial race, and the Democrat Gavin Newsom will likely be our next governor. Now here's the problem. Gavin has made massive promises that sound like, if they're kept, will turn California into a paradisiacal beacon of prosperity. The problem is, nearly everything he's talking about doing will bankrupt the state. It's actually quite befitting for two reasons. California is named after an imaginary paradise in a Spanish novel. And if this guy wins the governorship, Californians are getting exactly what they deserve, complete and utter collapse. Now here's just a few of the things, the expensive promises that he's making. Universal preschool and child care, universal health care, higher wages across the board, higher spending on infrastructure, and 3.5 million housing units to address California's housing shortage. Now, what does that price tag look like for those? It's like when you go into an antique store and you see a clock you're just dying to have because you think it's just going to make your life complete, and you look at the price tag and you see the price and you have a heart attack and die because real life liberal policies kill people. I'm just kidding. But seriously, how much money are we talking about here? Well, the universal preschool and child care alone will cost $8 billion. I guess I wouldn't take such issue with this if I didn't know how many kids in this state were brought here illegally and are soaking up our social program resources. Sorry, but if you're here illegally with your kids and you're trying to stick them with a state-hired babysitter that my tax dollars are paying for, I'm not cool with that. Take the kids back to your home country and have Grandma Rosa watch your offspring. Because the United States of America is not a daycare center. Or maybe it is. It sounds like Gavin Newsom is trying to make it that way. But the old sentiment that it takes a village to raise a child, they're not talking about taking the entire village's money, FYI. And the single-payer healthcare, aka socialized medicine, that's going to cost us $400 billion a year. I'll pause for a moment and let you breathe. Yeah, apparently Newsom is aware that he has expensive plans. On his campaign bus before the primary, he said this: I am not naive. It's not just about more resources, it's about resourcefulness. It's not just about more money. Yes, Gavin, it is, because these things have to be paid for, and I don't think you're going to be cutting a personal check for these projects, so you're going to have to be spending our money. He also wants to pump more money into universities in this state. Why? So they can spit out more brain-dead liberal sheep like you, Gavin? You all have seen the reports of the collapse of San Francisco, right? About how the streets are littered with human feces and needles and trash? Yeah. Newsom claims that his tenure as mayor there is proof that he can advance new programs even in an economic downturn. So, Mr. Newsom, if that's what you did as mayor of your city, I really don't think that you deserve a promotion. I'd really like for the whole of the state to not be transformed into your liberal dystopia, but I don't know, maybe that's just me. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a fantastic weekend. I'm Amanda Head, the Hollywood conservative for The Rebel. If you enjoyed my commentary and want to hear more from all of us here at The Rebel, subscribe to our premium content at www.therebel.media/shows. Make sure you're following us on Facebook and Twitter for all of our latest news, and download our new app for The Rebel Media on the App Store. That way you will have easy access to all of our latest videos and your favorite Rebel shows. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Amanda Head for The Rebel.